What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Moose. Getting ready for another episode of $10 Sports. We got our summary of Week 14's action and how that affected our bets. And of course, we got our Week 15 preview, our $10 parlays, Moose's Monster Teaser, couple over and under picks for you, all coming at you here at $10 Sports, the video podcast. Let's hit that intro.
10
dollar
sports.
Hope everyone's having a great evening. Again, it's your host Moose with $10 Sports. Here with the co-host. He's here with us this week. Let's bring him in. It's MRod. MRod, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Thanks for asking. As you can see right down there at the bottom, my record 27.44.
Right on time. 27.44. I know one of our buddies was giving you a hard time about that too.
He was.
Watches some of the show. He's like, dude, I didn't realize your record was so bad.
Yeah, he used the term fade MRod. I'm not sure what that really means.
Fade?
But he says that viewers are better off choosing the opposite of what I choose. Then most likely we'll actually win some money versus losing some money. So my feelings were a little hurt there, but that's okay.
It's been a tough season.
Yeah.
And I admire you because you're going for the big bucks, all right? And
I do. I try to go big, go home. I mean, we're waging $10. If I win $80, try to win $500-600. But you know what? That's why I'm wearing this jersey. It's a Rick Wild thing. It's kind of been like my picks. I've been making some wild picks. Yep. So really excited about the show. I think this might be the week I actually hit the parlay. I
feel you know what? I was looking at your picks. I was making some picks too. I went super conservative this week, but we'll get to that in a moment. Of course, welcome if you're watching us on our YouTube channel. Welcome to our YouTube channel, and of course, $10 Sports. I think we're up. This is episode 14, so getting close to 20 episodes. Probably do a few more as we get through the NFL season, the playoffs. We'll probably drop down production to maybe one every 2 or 3 weeks, just covering hockey and basketball. Depending how comfortable we get, we might do some betting on the XFL. Who knows? Maybe throw some parlays for the XFL as well. I know we had some fun with AAF, the short-lived AAF last year. Just kind of, we had some money to lose, I guess, betting on our different teams there. But again, YouTube channel at Balls, Brews, and Bros. You can always search for our shows as well. Our shows, Bucking Hangover, and this show, of course, $10 Sports, our sports gambling, very, very, very amateur sports gambling podcast. Speaking of podcasts, you can now listen to us on the road, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Again, just search for the shows at $10 Sports or Bucking Hangover or
No excuses.
No excuses. And the Thunderdome Puckcast, I know if you guys have been bugging me for a new Lightning podcast, it's coming out. I finally am ready to face the facts that we may not have a good hockey team, a team that may struggle to make the playoffs this year, but episode 8 will be coming out later this week, and we'll cover all that.
Is the podcast on Spotify and podcasts and all that we can?
Not yet. Should be ready to go by this weekend. We gotta just rip all the old audio files, convert them, and get them on there. So I will put up. If you're following me on Twitter, make sure you are at $10 Sports. As soon as they're up, you'll actually see direct links to them. You can download them at your will, or again, just look for them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., etc., etc. So no more shameless plugs. Let's move right into the action, the Week 14 action, which did not go well for both of us. We'll start out with you, Emrod. The big X on the Cowboys, Texans, Panthers.
I forgot the Bills.
And Seahawks. Oh, that's right. I forgot to X out the Bills. So your record is actually worse. Your record is actually one more loss and one less.
You missed something because I took the Giants. You know what? You're missing the Giants there. Giants plus, yep.
Giants are there, man. Giants plus 9.5 right here at the bottom.
Yeah. They just blend in with the colors.
Yeah, I think they're really blending in. So Giants 9.5. I got that one going, but yeah, I forgot the Bills. Bills lost.
Oh,
Who'd they lose to?
Lost to the Ravens.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it was by a touchdown. They kept their, you've been talking about all week, their margin of defeat. Still less than a touchdown, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so I think the spread was right on there. But, yeah, I got to put the X on the Bills. So actually, 1-5 for you.
Yeah, it was a tough week.
So talk us through some of your picks and where you went wrong.
I went wrong with the Cowboys. Them coming off that loss the week prior. I really thought this was a big, kind of like a big game here, trying to fight for the division. And Jason Garrett trying to keep his job going against the Bears in Chicago, giving Mr. Trubisky struggles. But, only the Cowboys can make Mr. Trubisky look like a Pro Bowler. So, so I was definitely wrong there. Houston Texans going up against the Broncos. Drew Lock making his second start.
Well, we thought this was, no pun intended, we thought this was a lock. Wow, this is the Texans are heavy favorites. This should be no problem. Rookie quarterback. Great. He had one or two great games. Cool. Now he's playing a Texans team that dominated the Patriots, and we were wrong.
Absolutely, we were wrong. Denver's defense looked great. Drew Lock looked great. It was just an all-around. Just the Broncos just controlled that game. Like, you wouldn't think that the Texans beat the Patriots the week before after seeing this. Then you got the Seahawks going against the Rams. The Seahawks beat the 49ers. I forgot who they beat after the 49ers, but the Seahawks have been looking really strong. They were actually number one seed in the NFC going against the struggling Rams. I really thought that this was going to be, it was like a -1. So I was like, oh, this might be one of our gifts from Vegas that we talked about. So I went ahead and took the Seahawks -1 on there, and I was wrong there again. The Rams just looked absolutely amazing.
Yeah, now the Rams are actually in the middle of the out. They're still in the outside looking in, but they almost look like a playoff team now. They're I think they're 8-7 or 8-6-1 or something like that. They had that tie. I think they had a pesky tie. Right, or they're 8-7. I have to look up their record. I think they're 8-5-1. I don't
think they got a tie. I think the tie was just the Lions and Arizona this year.
Or maybe 8-6. I'll look that up while you finish your other picks.
And then we got Carolina here playing against the Falcons. I thought Carolina was going to bounce back. You had Christian McCaffrey and their defense, pretty healthy team for the most part. Minus sans Cam Newton, but Kyle Allen was playing really well. I thought this was a good bounce back game here for the Rams. Not for the Rams. I'm sorry, for the Panthers, but I was wrong there again. And then we had who else did I have there?
Yeah, Panthers, Giants. You hit on the head there with Eli's swan song, keeping it within 10 at least.
Yep, plus 9.5. I thought that was a huge spread for the Eagles, who've been struggling playing against the Giants team. The Giants haven't been that great either, but usually a division game, they're usually a little bit closer than you anticipate. So I got that one right there. That's the only one I got right. And then the Bills, I really thought the Bills were going to pull the upset on the Ravens. I thought the Ravens were kind of playing, a little bit over their heads, and I thought this was kind of like a back to reality game. But the Ravens hung on there, and they won by a touchdown. I took the Bills straight up. I think the spread was only like 6.5, so I probably wouldn't have gotten a spread.
Yeah, spread would have been a tough beat there as well. Rams are 8-5 actually. Once we fact check there, so still in the mix. I think they're maybe a game and a half or two behind the pace. I think right now 6 seed is probably the Vikings at they 9-5 or something like that, 9-6. Or 9-4.
And as you can see there in the bottom, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you subscribe us. Give us a like if you like what you see. But Moose, let's switch over to Moose. Moose, where did you go wrong?
Oh, that's right, yeah. 2 and 3 for me.
Let's get that Moose cam on there, too.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I'm always bad with the Moose cam, but yeah, 2 and 3 for me. I just love the fedora, man. I just feel it steals the show. So I feel like it needs to be featured for at least 20 minutes of the podcast. So 2 for 3 for me. We had the mutual Texans pick, and I could not believe that. Watching that on Red Zone, it was like 21-0 at some point, and you knew the game was over from that point on. You knew the Texans were going to come back, but that was I think you hit all the points there. It was a shock, and I guess a broken clock is right twice a day, and maybe just maybe, John Elway has found his quarterback. After his 53rd attempt, he may have finally found someone. Maybe it's Drew Lock. Only time will tell now as we move on to the end of the season. Saints just losing a heartbreaker. That was a tough game, but you can't get too mad at that one. Even if that was my only game that didn't go my way, I mean, sure you'd be upset about it, but I mean that's just a classic game. I mean that was a heavyweight battle. We're gonna probably see those teams meet up in the playoffs again for the NFC Championship game. So I just think that's just an amazing matchup. That couple plays differentiated the teams. I mean, George Kittle getting open at the end and getting them to field goal range, that's all it took. And then really I couldn't believe the Dolphins. That this was kind of my moderate upset there, getting a little value in the pick. And, they were ahead. There was back and forth game. I think that game had 10 total field goals with names escape me, the Dolphins kicker. I think he kicked 7 field goals. No touchdowns at all for the Dolphins. The Dolphins had a 21-point score, and it was 7 field goals by their field goal kicker. And the Jets just doing enough. They kicked the field goal at the end of the game to actually win it, 24-21. So that was kind of a rough beat there. But we knew the Browns were going to win pretty easily against the Bengals, so that wasn't a surprise. And actually was kind of surprised that the Chiefs were underdogs against the Patriots. I mean, I guess only because it was at Foxborough, but I thought that was an easy game to call, at least straight up. Chiefs taking on the Patriots and beating them pretty soundly, at least. Maybe not score-wise, but they dominated most of that game. So 2-3 for me. No hit on the $10 parlay. We still got a couple chances to go for the rest of the season. As we prepare for that, let's take a look at this week's slate of games. It's always challenging. Always a challenging slate of games, starting off with tomorrow night's game, Jets and Ravens. We got the canceled out P there, meaning that this is a very lopsided game and you can't have parlays on the same game. So Jets right now, heavy underdogs, and right now anticipating a spread of 16.5. Any thoughts on this one? Is this a no-go for you? I don't even think it's worth it to even put this one on there.
I mean, you got Lamar Jackson, who is playing with an injury. I know he came up with an injury. I mean, he is playing this week. Not sure on that. Mark Andrews also with an injury as well. I think the Ravens, now based on those injuries, they're not going to go. I mean, they really don't have to go really hard on this game, to be honest with you. They're just going to keep it comfortable, keep the players safe. Try to run some plays. I don't think this is one where Lamar Jackson. I mean, he could, if he wanted to, probably put up like 50 points. But I think this is one where he just wants to comfortably win, kind of take it easy, kind of make it. It's kind of like a, so to speak, bye week for him.
Yeah,
so
have a nice little bye week against the Jets, and
so I usually when the spreads are this big, I usually will take the underdogs on this one with the points. I mean, 16.5 is a lot of points. I mean, it's the NFL. I mean, last year, I don't know if anyone remembers the Vikings. What were they like? Plus, like minus 12 or 15 against the Bills, and the Bills actually ended up beating them that game. So I mean, I always, whenever the spread's usually more than about 15, I usually will take the spread in situations like this. So I did not bet on this game personally, but I mean, if I had to, I would take Jets plus 16.5. It's not because I didn't bet on this game. It's just that I don't bet on Thursday games anymore. They usually don't work out well.
Yeah,
they ruin the rest of my weekend.
Thursdays, that's a good way to ruin the $10 parlay almost immediately and kill any interest you may have for the rest of the weekend in football. Classic NFC North matchup, Bears and Packers. Packers 4.5-point favorites. Kind of a low, moderate point total for him, which I think maybe it's the new Mitchell Trubisky, the new and improved offensive guru, Mitchell Trubisky, and the Bears taking on the Packers at Lambeau. Here, I don't know. I think I would have to take the Packers here. I just still don't trust the Bears. Their defense has been not as strong as maybe we thought that they were going to be at the beginning of the year. I think part of that is having an anemic offense, kind of putting you in tough spots. They're probably punting a million times a game as well, so defense is spending a lot of time on the field. I think I'd take the Packers here, and I think you did as well.
Yep, Let's not get into our parlay yet, but
Right.
we did put a little spoiler out there. Yeah, we both did take the Packers. I mean, being in Lambeau Field, Brett Favre out there, healthy Devontae Adams, the way Aaron Jones has been playing, I don't think it's enough to really stop the Packers from scoring there.
Did you just say Brett Favre?
I did say Brett Favre?
I think you said Brett Favre. That was a little Freudian slip there. We missed the gunslinger. I think you mean Aaron Rodgers.
I think we were talking about him yesterday. It's probably why he's in my mind. We were talking about, he leads the NFL in
interceptions. Yeah, we're still trying to justify Jameis Winston being a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think part of us are at least. And just kind of comparing him with Brett Favre having like 300 million interceptions. Next game, Seahawks, Panthers. I think this is kind of an easy one. I'm kind of tired of the term gift. I don't think there was any gifts actually in this set of games here.
Nah,
I mean, debatably Bills, Steelers. But, this is kind of as easy as they come. I think Carolina's, without Ron Rivera, I didn't see any fighting them last week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to be down and out the rest of the year. I think Seahawks safely on this one. Probably, spread always concerns me.
So talking about spreads, I mean, let's go over to the next game here. The Patriots and the Bengals, given that the Bengals are a one-win team.
Yeah.
Does it surprise you that the Patriots are -10 compared to -16.5 that the Patriots are over the Jets? -10, how do you feel about that compared to the Patriots-Jets spread?
I mean, I think it speaks to... look at the point total, too. I mean, it's over under a 41. So, I mean, I think that speaks to the expectations of the New England defense, or excuse me, the New England offense. They have not really played well this year. And I know this is the Cincinnati Bengals, and maybe this is all Tom Brady and company need to maybe get back on track as they make their playoff run. But their offense has looked questionable, and I think they were put to the test against Buffalo, and they've had the games they've lost, even against the Chiefs, who don't even really have a great defense. They were short of points. I mean, they were really struggling to score points against the Chiefs. So I think that's a testament to that.
And the Ravens, too, earlier this year.
Yeah, and the Ravens, the Bills, we talked about that. And
Texans
as well. We're just really shutting them down. So, I mean, I don't think the Bengals are going to shut them out or anything. But I think that margin of victory, we've seen the Bills. I don't think the Patriots really have the weapons this year to spread it out.
And moving over to
Broncos and Chiefs. This is a really interesting AFC West matchup.
Is this game a lock?
Oh man, I would feel comfortable taking Broncos 9.5.
Yeah, the way they looked last week.
I think I would take Broncos 9.5. It's not part of the parlay this week because I want to make sure that we pad our stats. But I think if I had a little bit more money to lose, I'd probably throw a couple bucks at Broncos 9.5 there. Might even take them straight up. That'd be kind of an interesting game to see. But 9.5, I think, is a sure bet there.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do straight up, but 9.5. I mean, yeah, I can definitely see that there. Moving on next to the toilet bowl, Dolphins and Giants. We got the Dolphins actually are given 3.5 points.
No respect for the Dolphins. I just don't know why. I know their offense struggled.
Probably because game's New York. Miami, the heat, and
we talked about that against the Jets, though. Back-to-back trips to that's kind of weird. Back-to-back trips to the same stadium.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Did they even go home? We should look into that. I would have just stayed in New York. Back-to-back games, Jets and Giants. I wonder when's the last time that's actually happened. So that's really interesting. So same stadium, probably same quality team. I think the Dolphins can win this one. I would take the Dolphins straight up here.
Yeah, no, I definitely.
Do we know if Eli's playing? Is Eli in the rest of the year, or is Daniel Jones back?
Eli's in, I think.
Eli had the most Eli game on Monday Night Football. It's like, oh yeah, I'm back. First half was great. Second half, not so much, and then cost him the game. So I think Eli's going to be Eli. Maybe he gives the Dolphins a little bit of a struggle here, but I don't know. I think the Dolphins pull it off. It's a fun football team. I know Fitzmagic wasn't in business last week with no offensive touchdowns and 7 field goals, which was almost an NFL record. But I'm looking for the Dolphins to bounce back offensively here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think personally, I probably would take the Giants. Eli Manning, he needs another win. He needs another win. It could be his last NFL start. We don't really know. I think he needs another win under his belt before he leaves.
I think
So
he's under 500, so I think the Giants do owe it to him to keep him in there. So he finishes above 500, so he's got that on his belt. So he's got to stay in, even if he has to come back next year.
I mean,
Bring him back next year to make sure he finishes over 500, and then he can retire.
last week I think they played at Philadelphia, so this could be Eli Manning's last home game as well.
That's right.
In New York. So I mean, I'm going to go ahead and given that, and given sports science and the whole sentimental and all that stuff, I'm going to give this one to the Giants -3.5. Eli Manning ending his career in New York with a win.
Eagles, Redskins. This with the Eagles play as of recent, this is actually a tricky call. I could see the Redskins pulling this off.
Yeah, I mean they've done it before. They got us before, so yeah, I can see. But I would probably still bet on the Eagles, especially because I mean I'm sure the Eagles are going to pull whatever they can. I mean they just beat the Giants last week, so the division right now is neck and neck. The Eagles win out. I mean they could potentially win a division, and I think Doug Peterson. I think he's a great coach. And I think he's got something up his sleeve here to make sure they don't lose and they keep the Cowboys out of the playoffs.
This is their opportunity. I think the Cowboys got the Rams this week, and even though it's a home game for the Cowboys, I anticipate the Cowboys are gonna do cowboy things and struggle in that game somehow.
I mean, the Eagles actually got I don't want to say an easy road, but I mean they got the Redskins this week, and then they got the Cowboys next week, and then they got the Giants after that. So those are the last 3 games. They're all divisional games.
And is that I think that game is in Philadelphia, right? Because I think they've been to Dallas already. Is that a home game for the Eagles? Oh man,
it is a home game, and then they finish the season off in New York against the
And
Giants.
then they get to play the first round against probably who's going to be third? The Packers, and get destroyed.
Packers probably.
Yeah, they get. No, they'd win the division. They'd play 5th seed. Oh man, it'd be like
they'll host
Seattle.
Yes,
Seattle
the
and the Philadelphia Eagles, and get destroyed by Seattle. But at least they made the playoffs, I guess. Bucks Lions. This is an easy one, I think. Bucks, I would easily take them on the spread here at 3.5.
Third string quarterback.
Bucks should win by 7 at least.
I mean, losing Mike Evans definitely does put a little hit on the offense. But I think this is, like I was saying, a bucking hangover. Receivers did step up, and I think OJ Howard's really a time for him to shine. Really, for him to shine here. So I think this is a game the Bucks comfortably win. So I would take without even second guessing Bucks -3.5. I think I would take that pretty easily.
And then a quasi game of the week. Actually, it might be the game of the week. Houston Texans, Tennessee Titans. Titans, probably the hottest team in the NFL right now. At least 6 wins in a row. Hardest quarterback. They are playing extremely well. Texans have been up and down all year. We just don't know what team we're going to see. Hopefully they can bounce back again from the very puzzling loss against the Broncos. This is a tough one. This was definitely a no-go for me, but I'm excited to watch it.
No-go for me as well. But I mean, both teams here are actually 8-5, and they're both battling for the division and potentially even a wild card spot. So I mean, this is definitely a game that I would definitely keep my eye on because there's a lot of implications with this game.
Speaking of no-goes, Vikings Chargers. I set the rule last week: no more betting on the Chargers. So I'm not touching this game at all. Not interested. The Chargers had a good game last week, right? Yeah, I guess playing the Jaguars will make you feel a lot better about life usually.
Yeah, definitely.
So I fully expect the Vikings to win this game, and especially in front of a home crowd in Los Angeles supporting the Vikings, more than likely in that 25,000 seat stadium, probably mostly full of Vikings fans. Gonna I'd pick the Vikings here. Browns Cardinals, another interesting game. Browns are slight favorites. I don't know, the way the Browns have been playing this year, OBJ doesn't seem interested. Baker Mayfield is either really, really, really good or really, really bad. This could be a game that the Cardinals steal.
Now the Browns snuck past on the Bengals last week, and with the +3, I mean they're a big. I just think the Arizona just doesn't have the firepower, and B, they got the worst pass defense in the league. I think
Yeah, the
this is
worst
a
offensive line. I think they've given up the most sacks this year.
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, Miles Garrett not being there definitely does relieve a little bit of pressure on Kyler Murray. But if I was betting here, I don't think I touched this game. But if I was betting, I'd probably take the Browns just because of the receiving core and the firepower, and Njoku, I believe, is back as well. Who's another
That's right. Yeah, I
another
think
big
you're
receiver
right. I
there.
saw him activated off the IR. He's back. Kind of a bittersweet moment here. Next game, Jaguars Raiders. Last game in the Oakland
Coliseum.
Coliseum for the Raiders for their big move to Las Vegas to Allegiant Stadium next year. How excited are you for Allegiant Stadium? One of my least favorite stadium names. Good on Allegiant for they have a stadium that looks better than 100% of their airplanes. Uh, Oakland Raiders should take this game, especially behind the emotional home support. Kind of curious. Hopefully, we get some good crowd shots there. Uh, maybe some Oakland riots as well after the game. I'd love to see that in true Oakland Raiders and black hole fashion. Game that we can.
Yeah, that one. I mean,
No, go ahead.
I'll say on that game with the Raiders last game, I think this is a game the Raiders going to win here. If they're going to win a game, this is the one that they need to win. Um, and it looks like everyone's beating up on Jacksonville right now, so I don't think really have to worry about much.
Falcons 49ers should be a no problem for the 49ers. Not much to talk about there. Pretty heavy favorites. Spread of 11. Probably would take the 11, especially with it being home in San Francisco, to get some value there. Not really much to talk about there. Rams Cowboys, I think, could be a pretty solid game. Both teams in the thick of the playoff race. Dallas likely needing to win just to keep pace with the Eagles, who should beat the Redskins. And then the Rams, of course, about a game and a half or two behind pace for that last wild card spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a must-win for the Cowboys. I mean, Cowboys don't win this one. I mean, and the Eagles win, I think the Eagles pretty much will go ahead and take the division here.
So here is the Vegas gift, and I'm smart enough now to stay away from these Vegas gifts. Buffalo plus 1.5. So underdogs to the Pittsburgh Steelers with Duck at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've played decently well, and they've had some surprising wins the last few weeks, but really against favorites against the Bills? Come on.
Yeah,
Is someone out? Is someone out that we don't know about?
not that I can think of, no. But
Is Josh Allen not playing? This is
I
one
mean,
I just don't understand. Why are
game is at home. That's the only thing I can think of is with the game being at Heinz Field. Maybe that's why they gave it. But yeah, I mean, I definitely do see that as a gift. I mean, the Bills have been playing pretty good, and like you've been saying all season, their margin of defeat is usually within a touchdown, and they usually lose to decent teams too. It's not like they really. So I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster does come back this week, but he comes back against a pretty tough Bills defense. So yeah, I mean, that is a gift there for sure.
That's kind of an oddball one there. Again, we've been trying out Smart Vegas all year, and they always seem to find a way to get us, and it's usually through these gifts that really aren't gifts, and they end up hurting us. And of course, last game of the week, Indianapolis, New Orleans. Fully expect New Orleans to continue Indianapolis's woes. So I'm hoping New Orleans takes this one.
Especially at home too.
Yeah, at home, bounce back. Kind of a letdown last week with a last-minute loss to the 49ers, so hopefully a bounce-back game for them against a struggling Colts team. Heavy favorites there as well. So let's get to the official $10 parlay picks for the guys. We got MRod Cam up. We got MRod's picks there. He's got another 6 spot for us. Lead us through your picks.
I got a 6 spot here. I am taking the the Buccaneers minus 3.5 for what we stated earlier here. Third string quarterback. Buccaneers, defense has been improving a little bit here. I know Kenny Galladay will be a challenge for our secondary, but I think that pass rush Shaq Barrett should be able to get in there. Got the Patriots. I know the points was minus 10, but you know what? I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to take the Patriots straight up. Same thing with the Seahawks, taking the Seahawks straight up against Panthers as well. The Green Bay, I feel pretty comfortable with their firepower and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. And Aaron Jones, the way they've been playing. I'm taking them minus 4.5. I'm taking the Broncos plus 9.5 here. It's against the Chiefs. I feel a little. This might be the one that gets me, but the way Luck has been playing, the way their defense played last week against Texans, I'm going to take them here, and then I'm taking I'm playing it safe here with the Eagles, straight up against the Redskins. So my biggest concern here is still that Broncos game. But yeah, betting $10 here wins me $163.89. Hopefully, I hit my parlay and improve that record there.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely some room for improvement there. Hopefully you can finish up strong, and I'd be more than happy for you to be the one of us that finally hits the $10 parlay. Let's look at Moose's picks for the week. And I had to make an edit here. I went with a $15 parlay this week. And I know it's $10 parlay, $10 sports, but if I went $10 this week, I would have only gotten $81. So I put 15 just to make it a little bit more interesting, because I played it super, super, super safe. Really, my only underdog pick was the Bills, which I took straight up. Again, we talked about, really don't know why we're giving Duck Devlin or Duck whoever the benefit of the doubt with basically third string with the Steelers. I know Juju's coming back. But the Bills are good. I think we've answered those questions even through their losses. This is a good team that.
Oh, you took no spreads either. Took all.
Yeah, no, I think I'm doing
money lines.
Doing money lines for these. So playing it, I think the Seahawks are a safe bet. Took the Vikings. I said I wasn't going to bet any games against the Chargers, but you know what? I'm taking the Vikings, and I'm mad at the Chargers. So hopefully they don't prove me wrong here, and all the crap I've been talking about Kirk Cousins this week doesn't come to bite me. Played it safe with the Saints, and taking the Bucks as well on the money line. So a $15 parlay hopefully gets me the 122.82, which I will gladly take. Got Moose's Monster Teaser. Got an 8 spot for you here. So I'm taking Packers, Seahawks, Patriots, Dolphins, Buccaneers, 49ers, Bills, and Saints. Packers get a 1.5. Seahawks just have to win. Patriots just got to win by 4. Dolphins, I think, is the one that's going to hurt me here. Dolphins just got to keep it within 9.5 against the Giants. Buccaneers drop down to plus 2.5, so I think we should be safe there. Biggest spread's going to be the 49ers got to cover by 5, and the Bills get a plus 7.5, which again is within their usual margin of defeat or victory, so we should be okay here. And then the Saints just have to cover by 3. So again, that was a $15 monster teaser, and I think that's paying $2.15. Should we hit it? I think the Dolphins one is going to be the one that gets me. This might be the week where Eli's swan song is going to throw like 5 touchdowns on his way out. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it's close, within 10 points or so. I'll take that. Moose's over unders for the week. Our 1 p.m. games. I'm going to take under 48 for the Seahawks, Panthers. I'm going to take over 45.5 for Broncos, Chiefs. And I'm going to do the over 40 for the Philadelphia, Washington game. What are your thoughts there?
I like it. I kind of agree with all 3 of them. The only one I'd probably be a little bit skeptical on is the over on the on the Eagles and Redskins, I think I probably would take the under on that one since both offenses have been looking very suspect and Eagles have like no wide receivers to throw to. But I would probably take the under on that one. But no, not too bad though. Not too bad.
We'll see how it does, and then 4 p.m. in late games. I'm gonna take under 48 for Browns Cardinals.
Yeah, I like that.
They're gonna take the under for Cowboys Rams, which this could potentially be an explosion, or it could not be.
I'd probably take the over on that one.
And they're gonna take over 36.5 for Steelers Bills.
Yeah, I like that.
So we'll see how that one goes as well. And I think that's it for our picks. That is it for $10 Sports tonight. Again, reminder, watch us on YouTube or pre-recorded or live shows. We'll go live sometimes. So it's really important that you're subscribing to us so you know when we're live. And following us on Twitter. We usually throw our links for our live shows there as well. And feel free to interact with us on chat. And then, of course, we're throwing our podcasts out there, ripping the audio from our shows and getting them to podcast format usually the next day. And that's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts right now. Looking to expand into iHeartRadio soon, so we'll throw that logo on there when that's official. And then, of course, just search for our shows, $10 Sports, to find us here. The Bucking Hangover, our Buccaneers Hangover show.
Hey, Moose, can you tell us how to search for them? Are you typing in $10, $10 Sports? Are we doing TEN dollar Sports?
Yeah, you're gonna.
How exactly do you look for us on all our different channels?
Right, yeah, you just want to put the name of the show, digits, $10 Sports, and then just Bucking Hangover should find us as well. They've been popping up pretty easily on searches as I've been testing. So if you're not finding them, hit us up on Twitter so we'll send you the direct link to them. So again, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And then we'll have Thunderdome Puckcast, the lightning-specific podcast that I do. We should have a new episode up by the end of the week, summarizing our last 2 weeks of play. And as we get to the halfway point of the season, kind of what the Lightning need to do to keep pace and hopefully make the playoffs. Definitely looking suspect this year. We're not getting the goaltending we need. But that's a story for the Puckcast. That's been it for us. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. Get the latest from us here at $10 Sports and at Balls, Brews, and Bros. Make sure you give that video a like and give us a like as well on Facebook at $10 Sports. And make sure you're subscribing to us or following us on Twitter. That's been it for Moose and MRod. Good luck on your gambling this week. We'll have some bonus picks as well on Twitter. Every once in a while I'll throw some bonus picks as my gambling bug hits me. And we will see you next week to report out on Week 15 of the NFL season. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.
Have a great night. Thank you for viewing. And we will see you next week. And hopefully we can share that we hit the first parlay.
Yeah, we want to hit that first parlay. And even if we hit, if I can hit the teaser, I'd be happy with another teaser win as well. But good luck to you out there. We'll see you next week. It's been Moose and MRod for $10 Sports. Take care.
10
$10
Sports.